It is difficult to fathom the existence of a distinct civilization that thrived for centuries in the harsh terrains of the trans-Himalayan Ladakh, at the heart of which lies the historic Leh Old Town, the capital in the 17th century during the reign of the most powerful king Singye Namgyal. Some of the residential houses in the Old Town are said to be much older than the palace itself. It was when the king realized the gaining trade importance of the town, it became the capital of Ladakh. Historically, the Old Town was categorized into two parts, Skyangos and Goksum, with 60 houses in each part described as Skyangos Tukchu and Goksum Tukchu, forming a total number of 120 houses.
Jucheza Gerdapsena, Skyangos Tukchu, Goksum Tukchu, Gertus da Ukerjon, Tompa Ganangishu. So, par exemple, les gars, ça m'a tué mon cœur. So, par exemple, Tena, Galsena, Stangu de Gujik, Staro Nanglok, Staro Pilok, Zete, Tene, Galpech Talam, Juste, Tene. So, par exemple, Zgosum, Zgosum, Stark, Siotkan, Te Stark Stendel, Man, Project, Ladarsena Gomagun, Shek du Dupin.
Most of these households still bear the same family names according to the royal duties that they performed. It seems that the layout of the houses on the south-facing hill slope followed a defined hierarchy, with the house of the minister, called the Lonpo House, standing above all on the foot of the palace. Other important houses like the Munshi House, the Shangara House, the Onpo House, the Choskor House, the Nuchung House, etc. can be viewed just below the palace.
You see, Leh Old Town has a really rich heritage significance because of the 17th century palace of Leh, which is the landmark of Leh. So today, like in Lhasa, if you go, so the landmark is the Potala Palace. Yeah. So one is the palace. So then Leh Old Town doesn't just have this Leh Palace also. It has the ancient fort of Tashi Namgyal. So now Tashi Namgyal's period goes to early 16th century. Tashi Namgyal's contribution is that again he was a king who was very, very ambitious. He was the younger brother, but very powerful, and then he consolidated Ladakh once again into one geographical entity.
Until about 40 or 50 years ago, the Old Town was still the Gunsa, or the winter residential place for the inhabitants of Leh, as they had alternative summer residences called Yarsa along the glacial melt runoffs or streams that irrigated their agricultural lands. The arc-shaped south-facing hill of the Old Town was suitable not only for warmth in the chilly winter, but the walled enclosure provided security to the residents from any possible threats.
About the Leh Old Town, you see William Moorcroft, who visited Leh in 1822. He says when he visited, Leh was really a walled city. So he saw that Leh was totally a walled city and it had different gates. And then these gates were closed at different times. And their caretakers were the people. We have this family called Goji. Goji was the keeper of the fourth gate. Go-Truk means the keeper of the sixth gate. So we don't know how many gates were there, because it was a walled city.
The walled enclosure of the town had main gates called stagos in different directions. 4 of these gates with stupas called kagan above each still exists. The building of Kagan Stupa before each gate was considered auspicious for overall well-being and protection of the walled town.
So maza inna gyalsavena teni tognejuna tenchilapchan man mapodwaja.
We have this three famous Maitreya temples of the built during Tapa Bumdes, King Tapa Bumdes period. You see, and then we also have Gompa Soma, Chandrasek Lakhang, Guru Lakhang. Guru Lakhang came much later, which is on the Goksum side. So that is Lama Tashi of Bhutan, who is the head of the Stakna Gompa.
The old town is surrounded by other important old and new buildings like the Jama Masjid, the Shia Mosque, the Gurdwara, the church, Chokang, Cinema Hall, Mehta Basti Ram's Haveli, Trade Sarais, Leh Bazaar, Polo Ground, Manesermo, and so on, apart from numerous monumental stupas and mane walls dotting the land within and on the outskirts of the old town Leh. Centuries old rule and prowess of the Namgyal dynasty ceased after Dogra's invasion in 1834 that eventually led the independent kingdom of Ladakh to become part of Jammu and Kashmir. Today, modern concrete houses are threatening to subsume the historic heritage town, which was listed by UNESCO as one of the world's endangered heritage sites in 2001. This decay and disuse of the old town actually set off after the royal family was deposed and forced to leave the palace to live in Stok village by the Dogras. But the mass abandonment of the Gunsa or winter residential houses by the owners of the old town took place rather in the recent decades, which can be attributed to modernity in view of alternative livelihood sources like government jobs, defense and tourism.
I Kharyog mo tanpojik zixte mimaskun ina mar sanska. Last transfer chonle Kharyog khampambed na zingyo jingmed na namatopche manjo. Allah. Halam daksa chamshik khaw tongpayo te mimaskun ina saguneka juxte shkidukune pia mimaskun duldupin. Ta daksa yargaz jan zerin son mimaskun na ran nasa o jinmet sorin jing lungskuneka khampar sikches tene don khang sikches sekane I khampagum daksa zixtangches mane.
In the best days of the old town, the inhabitants from different ethnic and religious backgrounds lived cohesively that led to an evolution of a pluralistic society of cosmopolitan nature. The plurality of the old town was the direct result of centuries of trade with Central Asia and Kashmir, which left deep imprints on the historical edicts written predominantly by Tibetan culture.
Gapetos la, hoje dos noches da no gole, dos noches te zanin gape rimroj kuma azukunga chanjin chakerale. Kuma nyungzuk nas pasangna, tene gape azuk sa chakerale. Ngurpa somena ma dos noches salti chamzo zuzara. Testing ne gapu mane metkan son pasangna tene kone nyamte son testing ne tene ngaje agale ne tansa skarat supe azuk nyarpa binte. And that's how you pay as a
that's the extension, Zamidari, Litama in our whole kitchen, that's the extension. Young man is kidnapped on the telephone, Tama Zone, Stawa, Duchen, canting as it was like it. Must keep on, so you come in. Izo skippo chen samba skippo na ches ni mata na rungu tang chen ta gilti pa chen ta ka skardo pa chen ta lama jiu chen ta mai minda chen
tini irayot kya ki khampa lokshi po buddhist na ingo chik po izu no muslim guni ano tewe khane teo pata jano khone chamjik friendliness yamana khone uniqueness teo pata chan.
The old town seems to be somewhat continuing as melting point of different cultures, as it has now become a cheap renting place for migrant laborers and small businessmen from Doda, Kishtwar, Bihar, Nepal, Assam, Punjab, among other states. Sanitation is the biggest issue for the residents of Old Town.
Chipa tezane ina rabadi shokcha to stanate botol rabadi botol za to mang pe metano ngalale chi yona ngata bazala chana ngata जोला खुते अर्ती चाजारे ना खुदी क्यों करता जाने ले दासा बाजाला लकास तोंपा सोंते आने रबर शुगु ना खुदी क्यों जोला खुदी क्यों ते समा खिमसा गिरते में
Leh Old Town Initiative, also called LOTI, of Tibet Heritage Fund, took the conservation and restoration responsibility in a major way in the recent years.
In their initial survey study, they had selected, they said, that, okay, there are some 180 buildings which are supposed to be of heritage significance. I can say at least more than 20 houses have been restored so far in the whole town, both in the eastern area and even in the western area. The challenges which we faced were initially, I think in the beginning, because the idea was still not taken by the stakeholders, the community people. So then for that we had to organize community meetings, So because the people are also getting very curious that after all, what kind of NGO is that who's paying, something for the restoration of a house, because this has never happened in India, really. So this is a classic case of conservation which is followed in Ladakh.
With increasing number of tourists visiting Old Town, the district administration is also taking specific conservation and restoration initiatives through organizations like Intact, Ladakh Chapter, in restoring the Basti Haveli structure and implementing a heritage walk project with Ladakh Arts and Media Organization.
और वहाँ पे हम एक लोकल ट्रेडिशनल किचन बनाएंगे. उसके साथ साथ यहाँ पे डिफरेंट जो NGOs कंसर्निंग दिस हेरिटेज में उनके साथ उनसे आइडिया लेके उनसे सजेशंस लेके अभी हेरिटेज वॉक करेंगे, जिसमें हम डिफरेंट मतलब जो भी जहाँ पे वॉक करेंगे हम साइनेजेस वगैरह लगा के इन्फॉर्मेशन देंगे ताकि लोगों को एक नया वो मिले. तो हम अपने ये हेरिटेज टाउन को इम्प्रूव करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं LHDC और डिस्ट्रिक्ट एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के सपोर्ट और उनके डायरेक्शन से.